Joran lived alone on the edge of the new Terra colony. His home was a small metal shack, and his workshop sat right next to it. Every day, he fixed farming drones, cargo haulers, and broken solar panels. He was a mechanic, quiet and hardworking. People liked him, but he didn't talk much. New Terra was a cold and dusty planet. The air was thin, the sun pale. It rained acid sometimes, so people built high roofs and strong walls. Outside the colony fences, wild animals roamed, big lizard creatures and skyworms that glowed in the dark. One evening, dark clouds covered the sky. Acid rain started to fall, hissing against metal roofs. Joran had just finished fixing a crop. Drone. When he heard a soft noise, like a whimper, he turned. Behind his workshop, near the trash bins, a small figure was curled up in the shadows. At first, he thought it was an animal. But then he saw her eyes big, glowing and full of fear. She was not human. She looked young. Her skin was smooth and pale blue, her body thin like she hadn't eaten in days. Her hair was silver and messy. She wore torn clothes that didn't fit right. She didn't speak. She just stared at him, shaking. Joren didn't move closer right away, raised his hand slowly to show he meant no harm. "You'll burn out here," he said gently. "Rain is acid." The girl didn't answer. He took off his work coat and stepped forward, carefully placing it near her. "You can come inside. Just for the night." Still, she didn't move. But when he turned away and walked back into the workshop, he left. The door opened. A few minutes later, she followed. Inside, the air was warm. Machines hummed gently. Joran gave her a blanket, a bowl of hot stew, and water. She sat near the heater, not speaking, but her eyes never left him. He didn't ask questions, not that night. He just watched her eat. She used her hands, like she had never seen a spoon before. Her fingers were long and a little glowing at the tips. She finished the food fast and leaned back. Closing her eyes, Joran pointed to a small cot in the corner. "You can sleep there. Safe here." "Okay." She nodded just once, then lay down. That night, Joran didn't sleep much. Who was she? Where did she come from? How did she survive out there alone? The next day, Joran found her awake early. She had cleaned the dishes. She stood near the workbench, looking at his tools with curiosity. "Do you know what these are?" he asked. She didn't answer, but picked up a wrench and held it correctly. Her fingers moved with care. Joren smiled. "You fix things." Before she gave a small nod, he said, "All right, let's see what you can do." He handed her a broken drone part. The circuit board was fried, and the rotor wouldn't spin. She studied it for a few minutes. Then she picked up the soldering tool and made fast, clean repairs. She added tiny adjustments, using scrap wires Joran had left on the table. In 10 minutes. The part worked again. Joran stared, surprised. "You're good." She smiled, just a little. Over the next few days, the girl stayed, didn't talk, but she listened well. Joran gave her simple words. Food, water, fix, sleep, and safe. She learned fast. Her name she didn't say, so he gave her one. "Leary," he said. "Your name is Leary. Is that okay?" She nodded. And from then on, she was Leary. The colony wasn't happy. A man from the colony council, Gregor, came to Joran's workshop. "What is she?" he asked sharply. "She's not human. She's not dangerous," Joran said calmly. "She's just a kid." "You don't know that," Gregor replied. "Aliens have tricked us before. She's hungry, scared, and homeless. I'm giving her a chance." Gregor grunted. "Just be careful. If anything happens, it won't," Joran said, ending the conversation. After that, Joran worked. Harder to keep Leary hidden. He taught her more words. He showed her how to repair engines, clean fuel lines, and run diagnostics. She picked up everything quickly, too quickly, even for someone smart. One night, Joran came back from the scrapyard. He was carrying spare drone parts. When he stepped into the workshop, he stopped. Leary was standing in front of a disassembled engine. Wires and gears were everywhere. She wasn't just fixing it. She was upgrading it. She had created a power core from nothing but junk. How did you? Joran asked, stepping forward. Leary looked nervous. She pointed at her head and said softly, Memory. I remember. From before? Joran crouched down beside her. From before what? She closed her eyes. Fire, sky, broke, run, hide. Joran felt a chill. Your home was attacked. Nodded slowly. He didn't press further. She had spoken more than ever. That was enough for now. The days turned into weeks. Leary became part of his life. She laughed sometimes, especially when Joran told bad jokes. She danced to old Earth music when no one was watching. She liked apples, but hated anything too salty. She always fixed machines faster than anyone. One day, a merchant ship landed at the colony. The crew came to Joran's workshop for repairs. Tall man with a metal eye watched Leary quietly as she cleaned a control board. After a while, he leaned close to Joran. Where did you find her? He asked. She found me, Joran replied. The man didn't smile. You know what she is? A girl, Joran said firmly. The man shook his head. No, she's not just a girl. It's ancient tech she's using. Fingers like that, she's not a worker. She's a royal or a key. He stepped back. Be careful. Some people would kill for her. Others might worship her. Then he left. That night, Joran couldn't sleep. Who was Leary, really? She looked so fragile, but inside her, maybe something powerful was hidden. Something old. Something alien. As Joran stared at the ceiling, he heard a small voice. You scared? Leary asked. She stood near the door watching him. He sat up. A little. She walked over and sat beside him. Me too, he smiled gently. We'll figure it out, together. She nodded and rested her head on his shoulder. The days on New Terra grew warmer. Leary stayed with Joran, working beside him in the workshop. She had become part of his routine cleaning parts, fixing drones, and even laughing when he dropped tools or told silly jokes. But something had changed. Since the merchant warned him, Joran watched her more closely now. She was gentle, careful, and never caused harm, but her skills were beyond natural. She knew machines no human had seen before. She could touch broken circuits and understand them without scanning. Sometimes when she thought no one was watching, her fingers glowed faintly. One afternoon, while Leary cleaned a hoverhauler's power unit, Joran connected his old medical scanner and quietly aimed it at her. The screen flickered, and strange data scrolled across it. Warning: unknown genetic structure. Hybrid technology detected. Neural implants. Joran's eyes widened. Leary noticed his silence and looked up. Something wrong? Quickly shut off the scanner.
No, nothing's wrong.
But something was. She wasn't just a lost alien girl. She was something more, part living being, part advanced technology. Some of her body was biotech, grown with her. Those glowing fingers. Neural control nodes. Not human, not even regular. Alien. She was rare. She was special. Later that night, Joran sat alone with a cup of tea, thinking. The workshop lights were dim. Leary had already gone to sleep on the small cot in the corner. Was she dangerous?
No.
She had never shown anger or violence. She was kind, smart, and thoughtful. But if someone else found out what she carried inside her, they might try to take her. Or worse. The next morning, Leary woke up early again. She smiled at Joran and brought him a repaired circuit board. Look, she said proudly. Fixed it. He nodded, smiling back. You're amazing, you know that? She tilted her head. Amazing, he chuckled. It means very good. Then, you amazing too, she said shyly. He felt a strange warmth in his chest. It was happening slowly, but clearly he was starting to care about her. Not just as someone he helped, but as a person, someone important to him, maybe even more. Later that week, the colony's satellite picked up a strange signal from space. It was faint, almost hidden, but it was there, a pulse, like a beacon. The colony council held a short meeting, but no one could figure it out. Most thought it was just space noise. Joren knew better. That night, after Leary went to sleep, he checked his scanner logs again. One line stood out. Signal origin. Internal implant activation type. Locator beacon. The signal had come from her. He stared at the screen. Why would a beacon turn on? Did she know? Was someone already coming? He turned to look at her. She slept peacefully, holding a small cloth pillow he had given her. She looked so innocent, so human. But the truth was louder now. She wasn't just a girl on the run. She was someone they'd be looking for. A few days passed quietly. The sky remained clear. Leary helped fix a broken tractor for an old farmer.
No.
She had built herself from scrap. The farmer thanked them both and offered them apples from his garden. Leary loved apples. One evening, while they sat outside watching the stars, Leary asked something surprising. "Joren," she said, "where is your family?" Joren looked up at the dark sky. "Far away, I left Earth many years ago. My parents are gone. No brothers or sisters. Lonely?" He shrugged. "It's not anymore." She smiled. "I don't remember family. But with you, I feel warm. Safe." He didn't say anything, but his heart beat faster. Then she added softly, "You saved me." He turned to her. "You saved me too, Leary." The next day, while Joren went into the colony to pick up parts, Leary stayed behind to work on a small energy cell. She sat cross-legged on the workshop floor, humming softly. Her fingers danced over wires and cores. Suddenly, her body jerked. A strange pulse echoed in her mind. Her eyes glowed bright for a moment, and her hands froze. She felt heat in her chest, and her vision blurred. The beacon deep, inside her, had fully activated. Far in orbit, something responded. She gasped and fell back. The workshop lights flickered. The drone screens blinked with unknown symbols. A glowing map appeared on a nearby screen, a solar chart pointing toward New Terra, and somewhere in deep space, a ship changed course. When Joren returned, he found Leary sitting quietly near the power supply. She looked pale. "Leary, what happened?" She didn't answer right away then. She said softly, "They know." Joren's heart dropped. "Who?" She pointed upward. "The sky people. From before." He knelt beside her. "Do you mean your people?" She nodded. "They come now because of me." Joren took her hands gently. "Do you want to go with them?" She looked into his eyes. "I don't know. I'm scared." He pulled her into a hug. "Then we'll face it together." That night, they both stayed awake. Joren reinforced the doors, checked the scanner feeds, and charged every drone battery, just in case. He didn't know what they were walking into, but he wouldn't let them take her without her choice. Leary worked quietly, building a strange device, part scanner, part shield. She moved fast, as if her hands knew what was coming. They didn't speak much, but they stayed close. Around midnight, Joren finally asked, "What are you, Leary?" She looked at him, then at her glowing hand. "I don't know everything, but I was made special. My people used machines to protect our family. When war came, we lost everything. I ran, I hid. The beacon was turned off, until now." Placed a hand on her shoulder. "You're not alone anymore." She smiled. "Faintly, I don't want to leave you."
Outside.
The stars shifted. A strange light blinked far in the sky, silent but watching. A ship was coming, and it was coming fast. But Joren didn't feel afraid anymore, because for the first time in years he had someone worth protecting. For 2 days, the sky above New Terra was quiet, but Joren felt that something was coming. He kept his scanner on full power, checking signals every hour. Leary stayed inside the workshop, building small defense tools. Her fingers worked fast. Her eyes glowed more now, even in daylight. The strange energy around her was stronger. Something inside her was waking up. On the third night, it happened. The wind outside stopped. The sky turned pale white. Then a soft hum filled the air. It wasn't thunder. It wasn't a machine. It was something deeper. Leary stood up suddenly. "They're here," she whispered. Joren ran outside. He looked up. A black triangle-shaped ship floated high above the colony. It made no sound. Lights blinked under its surface green, blue and gold. It didn't move like a normal ship. It just hovered, still and cold. Then dozens of small drones fell from the sky-silent spheres with blinking red lights. They flew low, scanning everything. People in the colony screamed and ran inside. The defense systems turned on. Sirens wailed. But the drones did not attack. They only scanned. And searched. Joren grabbed Leary's hand. "We have to hide." Nodded the old mine. "It's deep. They won't see there." They ran together through the dusty fields behind the workshop. Leary moved fast, guiding him toward a forgotten cave near the cliffs. It was an old mining tunnel, long closed. Joren had used it years ago to store broken equipment. Now it would become their shelter. Inside the tunnel, it was dark and cold. Walls were covered in black rock. Old mining bots lay rusted near the walls. Leary sat down, breathing hard. Joren knelt beside her. "Are you okay?" She nodded. "They search. Not find yet. Soon." "Why are they looking for you?" She looked down. "Because I am the last." "The last of what?" "My kind, my house, my family. I was heir. Royal, but war came. Others wanted power. My parents sent me away. They hid me then. They died." Joren was silent. The girl he had saved from the rain was not just any alien. She was a lost princess of a race long thought gone. "They don't want to help," she said. "They want to use me. My body holds key codes, old Empire tech. If they take me, they open gates, weapons, ships, control. You're unclenched as fists. They can't take you. You're not a tool. You're a person." Leary touched his hand. "I stay because of you. I want to stay, but they won't let me." He looked into her glowing eyes. "Then we fight." Outside, the drones scanned the colony street by street. One reached Joren's workshop and hovered near the tools. Leary had used it. Beeped once, then turned red. It had found a trace. The ship above the sky made a new sound, deep. Rising hum, Joren's scanner beeped wildly inside the cave. "They're closing in," he said. "Fast!" Leary stood up. "I can stop them." For a short time, he looked at her. "How?" She closed her eyes. Small lights flowed down her arms. Her skin shimmered like metal. The glow from her fingers lit the cave. "I was made to protect. I will try." Joren stepped back as Leary walked forward. She opened a small device she had built from scrap half-scanner, half-pulse emitter. She placed it on the ground. She pressed her palm to it and whispered something in her language. The device glowed. Outside, every drone in a 5-mile radius froze midair. Their lights turned blue. The skyship above paused its search. For 10 seconds, the world stood still. But then the drones rebooted. "They're breaking the lock," Leary shouted. Joren grabbed her hand. "We move again. Let's go." They ran deeper into the mine. The path was narrow and slippery. Water dripped from above. Behind them, 2 drones entered the tunnel. Lights spinning fast. Joren reached for a metal pipe and swung hard at the first drone. It hit the wall and sparked, falling in pieces. The second drone aimed a scanner beam at Leary. She ducked and placed her hand on the cave wall. Energy flowed through the rock. The lights in the tunnel exploded. The drone crashed to the ground. They didn't stop running until they reached a sealed chamber. It was dark and filled with old mining crates. Joren sealed the entrance behind them using a control panel. They collapsed to the floor, breathing hard. For a moment, there was silence. Then, Leary leaned her head on his shoulder. "You didn't run," she said softly. "Why would I?" "Most would leave. You stayed." Joren looked at her. "You're not just some lost alien. You're Leary. You're brave, smart, and you're my friend." She looked into his eyes. More than friend, felt his heart beat faster. "Yes." He said, "More. Back at the colony, The council was panicking. The alien ship still hovered, but no attack came. People locked their doors and prayed for help. Gregor, the council leader, spoke into the comms. We don't know what they want, but someone in the colony has drawn them here. No one answered, because only Joran knew, and he was not giving her. Up, inside the sealed cave room, Leary worked on a small cube device. Her hands moved like lightning. Joran watched her in awe. What are you building, a jammer, she said. It hides life signals. It can't track me. Will it work? For a while. Not forever. She stopped and looked at him. If they take me, they'll control starships, planets. They'll start war again. Then we stop them, Joran said. But we are only 2. He smiled. 2 is enough, especially with you on my side. She blushed. I feel safe with you. He reached out and took her hand. I promised I'd protect you.
I mean it.
Suddenly, a low voice echoed in the chamber. Princess Lyricsana of the Zerali line. We have found you. The wall in front of them shimmered. A tall alien figure stepped through a glowing portal. He was dressed in black and gold armor. His skin was pale silver, and his eyes were bright yellow. He bowed deeply. Your people need you. Come home. Leary stood still, shocked. I have no home, she said. You destroyed it. The figure looked sad. We did what we had to. The Empire fell. But we need you now. The galaxy needs its queen. Joran stepped in front of her. She's not going anywhere without her choice. The alien looked at him amused. A human? You think she belongs with you? I don't own her. She's free, and I'll stand by her choice. Leary stepped beside Joran. I choose him, she said clearly. He is my home now. The alien sighed. Then we will return soon with more. He vanished into the portal. The silence returned. Leary turned to Joran. They'll come back, he nodded. Then let's prepare. Outside the alien ship. Above, New Terra slowly drifted away, but it would return, and next time. They wouldn't just ask. For 3 days, the skies above New Terra stayed quiet. The black alien ship had left. The strange drones had vanished. But the silence did not feel peaceful. It felt like the deep breath before a storm. Joran and Leary stayed hidden in the sealed mine. The signal jammer worked, and no new drones had found them. They ate stored food and rested, but both knew what was coming. They will return, Leary said softly. Joran nodded. I know. Leary sat beside him, legs crossed, tools in her lap. She was building something again this time, a small energy shield. They won't just talk next time, she said. They'll take me by force. I won't let that happen. She looked at him. You might get hurt. He gave a small smile. You're worth it. Leary paused, her glowing eyes wide. You always say that, she whispered. But why? Joran took a slow breath. 'Cause you changed my life. Before you came, I just worked. I just existed. Now I feel alive. I feel ... needed. Ch. Blinked slowly. I feel the same. Her hands touched, and for a long moment the silence felt warm. Not like danger, but like something new. Something deeper. The next day they left the cave. It was risky, but they needed more supplies and answers. Joran wore a thick coat and a scanner on his wrist. Leary stayed close behind him, a hood over her silver hair. They walked through back paths and empty fields until they reached the edge. Of the colony, something had changed. There were new machines at the colony's gates' metal towers with blinking lights. Alien symbols were painted on the walls. Soldiers in black armor stood near the buildings. Not human soldiers. They're already here, Joran said in a low voice. A patrol passed by. One of the soldiers looked their way but did not react. They don't know me, Leary whispered. Not yet. They slipped through the shadows and reached Joran's old workshop. Inside, everything was still. Dust covered the tools. The solar panels were half broken. Leary touched the table gently. It feels like home. Joran gave her a sad smile. It still is. If you want it, just then, a voice came from the door. You shouldn't be here. Joran turned fast. Grego the colony councilman stood in the doorway. He had a deep frown on his face. "You're hiding her," Gregor said, pointing at Leary. "A royal. A weapon. Do you know what kind of trouble you've brought us?" "She's not a weapon," Joran said firmly. "She's a person." Gregor laughed dryly. "You're blinded. The aliens made a deal with the council. If we hand her over, they leave us alone." Leary stepped forward. "You trust them?" "I trust peace," Gregor snapped. "And I won't risk this colony for one girl." Joran stepped between them. "Then you'll have to go through me." Gregor's eyes narrowed. "You're making a mistake." He walked away, but his warning stayed in the air like smoke. That night, the skies above the colony lit up again. The same black ship returned, bigger and lower than before. Lights flashed across the sky. The ground shook. A voice boomed through every speaker. "Lyricsana of the Zerali line. Your people call you. Surrender peacefully. A throne awaits." The colonists gathered in fear. No one moved. No one answered. Joren. And Leary stood on a hill above the colony, watching it all. "They won't stop until they have me," Leary said softly. "You don't have to go. If I stay, people will suffer." Joran's hands tightened. "You don't owe them anything. They are my people," she replied. "Even if they betrayed my family." Small alien pod landed near the colony's main square. Too tall? Figures stepped out. One of them was the armored man who had appeared in the cave. The other was older, with silver tattoos and golden eyes. They spoke to the council in low voices. Gregor stepped aside quickly and pointed up toward the hills. Joren. Cursed under his breath, he told them. Leary placed a hand on Joran's arm. "I must go." "I'll speak to them," she said. "Just talk. I won't let them take me without choice." Joran walked beside her as she approached the alien envoys. Crowd parted, watching silently. The older alien bowed deeply. "Your Highness, we welcome you." Leary stood tall. "Why do you want me?" "You are the last of your line," the alien said. "With you, the Zerali Empire can be born again. We offer you power, respect, a throne, and in return, you give us the key to the past. To the technology locked inside you." Leary's face was calm. "You don't care about me. You care about control. We care about survival," he said. Joren stepped forward. "She's not going anywhere." The armored alien narrowed his eyes. "You are not part of this." "I am now," Joran said. "She's not alone." Leary took a deep breath. "I will come with you on one condition." Both aliens leaned in. "You respect my voice," she said. "My rule? I decide how to use the old technology, and I choose peace." The aliens exchanged glances. "And if we refuse?" the armored one asked. Leary's eyes glowed bright. Energy flowed down her arms. The lights around her flickered. The alien soldiers stepped back. "Then you leave empty-handed," she said. The older alien bowed again. "We accept." But the armored one did not bow. He stared at Joran with cold eyes, and him, he asked. "Lir." I looked at Joran. "He comes." "With me?" Joran blinked. "Wait, what?" "You gave me home," she said. "I give you one?" A day later, the colony watched as Leary stepped onto the alien shuttle. She wore a simple white robe with silver lines. Joran stood beside her, dressed in clean clothes and a confused expression. "You sure about this?" Leary nodded. "I go to change my people, but I won't do it alone." Joran looked into her eyes. "Then I'm with you." As the shuttle lifted into the sky, colonists watched in silence. Some felt relief, some felt fear, but none could forget the girl, who once arrived homeless and now left like a queen. Inside the ship, Leary sat beside Joran. "Strange, isn't it?" He said. "What?" "How we met. Rain, alley, now. Stars," she smiled. "You welcomed me when no one else would. You gave me a chance. Now I give you everything." Joran looked out the window at the stars. "Where are we going?" "To rebuild a broken world," she said. Then she gently took his hand. "You saved me, Joran. I'll never forget." The stars outside the ship were bright and endless. Joran sat near a large window, staring at the galaxies passing by. The ship was smooth, quiet, made of strange metal that shimmered like glass. Leary sat beside him, calm and still. Neither of them spoke for a while. Then Joran asked softly, "Where are we going now?" Leary smiled. "To the capital planet of my people, the last place they still control. Is it safe?" She looked down. "It hasn't been safe for a long time. That's why I must go." Joran nodded slowly. "And me? What happens to me?" "There, you'll be at my side," she said gently. "Not as a guard or a helper, as my equal." Joran laughed quietly. "A royal consort?" Leary smiled again. "Or maybe more." The alien ship flew faster than any human ship. It passed through star lanes and wormholes, following old Zerali routes that only a few still remembered. In 2 days, they reached the planet Zerali's prime. Joran looked out the window and saw a glowing world below, silver oceans, floating cities, giant towers reaching toward the sky. The ship landed on a long platform made of black stone. Hundreds of alien people were waiting. Some were tall, others small. Some wore armor, others robes. But they all bowed when Leary stepped out. Joran followed, his heart racing. He had once fixed drones in a dusty workshop. Now he stood next to a princess, inside the royal hall. A huge round room with blue flames burning. In the walls, Leary stood in front of a group of elder leaders. They were the council, wise and tired. They had waited years for someone to bring back order. Leary spoke with strength. "I will not rule with war," she said. "The old ways brought only death. But we are weak." One elder shouted. "Without weapons, the other empires will crush us." Leary raised her glowing hand. "We have something greater: knowledge, hope, and a future that includes all. People, not just our kind," the elders murmured, uncertain. Then Leary said, "I will share the old technology, but only to help. No more war machines, no more death fleets." Another elder asked, "And what of the human?" Joran stood tall beside her. "I am Joran of Earth," he said simply. "I fixed her ship. I gave her food. I gave her safety." He looked at Leary, and she gave me everything. The council fell silent. Then slowly they bowed. Days passed. Leary began to rebuild her empire. She met with governors, spoke to ships across the stars, and sent out a message of peace. Worlds that had been silent began to speak again. Lost cities opened their gates. Ancient systems came back online. Liri worked day and night. But no matter how busy she became, she always returned to Joran at the end of each day. They would sit on the balcony and watch the stars. "You missed your old life?" she asked one evening. Joran smiled. "Sometimes quiet, the tools, the rain hitting the roof." She leaned against him. "You can still fix things here. We have old machines." He laughed. "Then maybe I'll open a royal repair shop." Weeks passed, then months. Leary stood in front of her people again, wearing a new robe, silver with glowing lines. Her crown was simple, a small ring of light floating above her head. She made her voice echo through every city. "Today, begin again. No more empires built on fear. No more lost children hiding from war." The people cheered. Then she turned to Joran, who stood in front of everyone in clean black clothes. "I was alone," she said, "until one human offered me shelter. Now I offer him my heart." She reached out her hand. "Joran of Earth, will you be my husband?" Gasps spread through the crowd. But Joran didn't wait. He took her hand and said, "Yes." The crowd cheered louder than ever before. The wedding was held under the twin moons of Welly's prime. Lights floated in the air. Music played from crystal towers. People from many races came to watch: humans, aliens, robots, even a few Earth ambassadors. Leary wore a long silver dress. Joran wore a simple robe with her family symbol stitched on the chest. They walked through the fire. Gardenon, ancient place of peace. The ceremony was short. The vows were simple. "I choose you, Leary," said her voice steady. "And I choose you," Joran replied. Then they kissed. The lights in the sky turned gold. The people cheered once more. That night, Joran and Leary sat alone in their garden. The stars above were quiet. You know, Joran said, I still remember the first time I saw you, in the alley, cold and shaking. I remember too, Leary said. You opened the door? He smiled. I didn't know I was opening it to my future. She rested her head on his shoulder. You gave me home, she whispered. And you gave me love, he said softly. They sat there for a long time. No war, no fear, just peace. Years later, people across the galaxy spoke of Queen Leary, the leader who ended the silence and rebuilt an empire with kindness. They spoke of her strange husband, human mechanic who once lived in a dusty colony on a forgotten world. They told stories about how he welcomed a homeless girl with no name and became part of something greater than anyone expected. But for Joran, it was simple. He hadn't saved a princess. He had found a friend, a partner, and a reason to live. And when people asked how it all began, he always said the same thing. I just opened the door.